Welcome to Flipside Interview. Joining me today, Bluzelle. And from Bluzelle, we have Pavel Baines. Pavel, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me here. I'm pretty excited to do this with you guys.
We are excited as well. And Pavel, let's get right into it. What is Bluzelle and why should we care? Right off the bat.
So Bluzelle is a decentralized storage layer for Web3. We're all been hearing about Web3 and what it's all about. Web2 was all centralized storage like AWS, Google Cloud, sits on one node, one server, gets broken into, or you had to pay for extra replication, things like that, and it's gone. Web3 is we decentralize that, right? So instead of sitting in one node that's controlled by one company, we send it to the crowd and say, offer up storage in your space, and we're basically going to rent it out for you. So it's basically the Airbnb of storage.
I love that analogy, the Airbnb of storage. But now I'm thinking to myself, why is it advantageous for the average user to have a decentralized approach instead of a centralized approach in terms of data storage?
Well, it's data and file storage. And I think the easiest thing for everybody to probably understand right now would be around what's the new sector in crypto, to NFTs. You acquire this NFT, whether it's for a few $100s, a few $1 million, right? It's there. You get it on the platform, but you have to store it somewhere. And that platform says, oh yeah, we have it stored on a place right now. Let's just say most likely it's AWS. It sits there. If AWS goes down, sure, you still have the authentication that I own this, but what if the file is gone? That is a major potential flaw that can happen. Now, having decentralized storage like on Bluzelle, what we do is take your file, and where it's stored is automatically replicated. So it has one ownership, but we also authenticate that it's only one file that's replicated across all our nodes, so that even if one node goes down or is missing or hacked into, your file continues to exist no matter what. So
sorry to interrupt you, but if I understood correctly, so let's just say I purchase a CryptoKitty or a Bored Ape, right? And so it has this authentication code. And basically, you are not duplicating the NFT itself, you're duplicating the fact that I own that NFT.
Well, we know that you own it, right? And it's tied to that one contract. So what we end up doing is we're basically storing it in multiple places at the same time. And so when it's grabbed, there's only one file that it grabs from. But what this prevents is it's basically doing duplication all across. So if you do lose it or one node goes down, it's there. But right now the model is these platforms that are doing it, they're just using, let's say, one node somewhere. And if that's gone, theoretically your file's gone as well, your NFT.
Oh, interesting. So this is a big issue people have been having, losing, getting, fished out of their NFTs. And this really could save a lot of people a lot of money and their NFTs. However, can I be a bit of a nerd with you, Pavel?
Sure, you can.
So let's get to the nitty-gritty. So on what network do you support these NFTs? So let's just say I bought an NFT on the Ethereum network. So it's no problem for me to then receive it through other networks as well. So for example, I have an NFT on the Ethereum network, but then I have an NFT from Wax. That's not an issue.
Yeah, so ours is just storing the actual file. So the NFT is really an audio file, the JPEG, whichever it is, right? That sits with us no matter. Now what we use to authenticate that it's there, we just run off the Cosmos blockchain. So that doesn't really matter to where you actually minted it, but that way you're assured that when you take your file, you store it on there, our network says, yeah, okay, that file belonging to you sits here, and you can see it on our block scanner and everything as well.
Oh, nice. Okay, so that means there's interoperability, and you care more about the fact that you own the file than the file source itself.
Correct.
Essentially. Okay, now we're on the same page. Thank you for clarifying. Now, if we go deeper into the woods, Bluzelle came out not too long ago. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I would say, the project is 4 years, right? Took us a little, we raised our funds right at the peak of the last, crypto bull market. Then we went to, that 2.5+ year of bear, survived through crypto winter. You know, learned a lot of things along the way, team changes, stuff like that. But then this year, you know, and over the past year and a half, really got things rolling. Initially, we're data storage, but earlier this year, we realized that, hey, file storage is key. We can do that better because of NFTs. And so we've just actually launched the file storage component to it, which is NFT support.
Yeah, amazing. And just so we're clear, so users can go over to bluzelle.com and then just register, I will assume, and begin storing their data on top of this decentralized application.
Right now, we are more B2B. So we'll work with platforms, specific NFT platforms, integrate on there. What they'll do is saying, hey, do you want this stored in a centralized or decentralized, let's say, comes to us. So we're almost like behind the scenes.
Right.
But I would say, you know, a year from now or something, that's when we'll have the more consumer-friendly tools and people will be more comfortable doing, you know, direct Web3 type applications.
Yeah, but to be devil's advocate, I mean, the fact that you're already providing this service to B2B and it's a fully functional service is already amazing and really needed in the market. And a year's time, I mean, viewers at home might not be appreciative of those timeframes, but that's a realistic time frame to deliver such a robust solution. So you guys are doing an excellent job at that. That said, though, I'm interested to understand your timeline. So right now, B2B, then it's B2C, and what's next for Bluzelle?
Right now, the biggest thing is get more platforms, users just, you know, basically start having stuff stored on there, stress testing the network, and saying, all right, it's growing, it's working, we're getting the customers. Second would be growing that validator network. So you want more storage capacity, right? And one will be, the biggest thing will be, you know, right now it's more for professional people, more tech savvy, that they can set up a validator node, have that storage, connect to our network. The long-term goal there also would be kind of business to consumer, in the sense that, let's just say you're at home and you want to hook up your own laptop very easily, like one click. That's what we want to be able to deliver to. So I would say the two things are increased customers building on it right now or using it, B2B ones, and then second would be expanding the network, so more storage capacity.
Yeah, makes absolute sense. Now, continuing the nerdy conversation we're having here, Pavel, so far I'm loving it. Let's just say GameFi is coming onto the scene in a big way. GameFi could be seen as just an extension of what's happening in the NFT space, but essentially, could there be a future in which if I get an in-game item, I could then easily store it at Bluzelle in a couple of years?
Oh yeah, I mean that's the long-term goal, right? Or even short-term. I think that's going to be a function of the game that's built, and they decide, hey, do we leave it to the user, or we say, hey, we're storing it on networks like this. And maybe when they say that we're stored on decentralized networks already, that's a feature that's compelling to the user because they want that trust factor in there.
Yeah, love it. Because right now I'm seeing a lot of games pop up, and I'm constantly thinking, who will own it? How will I protect them? I'm quite clumsy with my passwords, seed keys, and I'm just thinking, okay, how do I really solve this issue, which you are, it seems, solving quite well. I'm just curious. So we see this shiny picture of the world with Bluzelle, but the NFT market right now is a bit more turbulent, and I would want your honest opinion about what do you think about the market right now as you're entering into it in a big way? Do you think you're at the right time, and what do you think about the market? Well, let's just say ethos in general.
No, great question. I think about this a lot, and I think we're a crypto NFTs have moved crypto into a new form of culture. So now, what I mean by this is, my closest relevance is, I'm a 90s kid, right? And in the 90s was when rap and hip hop really took off and people were naysaying it. Now, in the early 90s, you know, I grew up in Vancouver, went to school in the US as well. All the TV, everything that formed myself and all my friends was, you know, from the shorts we wore on the basketball courts to the shoes, was all hip hop influence. So it was its own culture that started to emerge. And everybody kept saying it's a fad, but it's like, no, this is a whole new culture that nobody really understood. And but you know what happened? You know, the corporations said it will go, or you know, the mainstream. But look where it is now. My only parallel now is crypto is that it's become its own culture to a younger demographic, has the exact same parallels as hip hop, where now NFTs is just proven that this is a thing that is going to be for like my kids who are, 12, 14. This is all they're going to know. And the thing that I actually really figured out now, what I draw on is the NFTs that are coming out. So let's just say Drake drops an NFT. Yeah, his fans will like it. It'll be cool, but it's not going to appreciate in price because it's not organically from the crypto culture. If you look at it, NFTs that are taken off, whether it's CryptoPunks, Bored Apes, it's organically from the culture itself is what the people want. So my daughter, who's 14, she's not going to care if an Ariana Grande NFT comes out in a couple of years. She's going to be like, what came from the culture itself? Because she's a crypto native. So that's where people are. It's like, it would be like 1992, a popular TV show is out and they say, oh my God, our ratings are down. Let's just throw some hip hop and a rapper in there, a kid rapping, and that'll save our ratings. No, it didn't. It wasn't authentic. That's what you're going to see in NFTs, where everybody's going to keep trying to NFTs, that we need to tap into this culture. It's not going to work. It's going to be the stuff that's that's grown. And that's what crypto is. It just loves its native stuff. So whether the prices go up or down in the next 6 months, which we know they always do, but I think it's here to last. Like, this is just crossed that next level of being its own kind of ecosystem.
We're definitely on the same page there. However, you mentioned a very interesting point that it's replicating what was the 90s phenomenon. However, it's culturally significant. However, it's ethos. I was just in a panel discussion, and I mean, at some point, you have to think the way NFTs are presented right now, what people, when they Google NFT, what they see in Google Images, let's just say, the complete crypto newbies, what is their first impression of what the NFT is? It's a bit premature, I would say, what it could actually be, right? Or would you disagree?
Let's go back to my parallel, right, of the 90s. If somebody says, who's not into the culture and says, what's rap music? They look it up and all they see is...
Right. Okay, good point. Yeah.
So I think this is really cutting for people. If they draw that parallel, it'll actually make it all much simpler to be like, we're all going to make it. We're on the right path, because that's what we should look at.
And as we are on that right path, so do you think that's almost predestined to, or pre-programmed for those who think we live in a simulation, that NFTs will be have mass adoption?
Well, they might just become different forms, and we just won't call them NFTs anymore. So the concept of those, yes. Right. But I think what I look at is more of, let's not focus on the NFTs itself. Crypto culture will be mass adoption. This is the next. It was finance. This is causing the next leap. So crypto culture will be mass adoption.
Is there anything else about Bluzelle which you would like to maybe clarify for people? What usual questions do you get about Bluzelle that people just don't get?
The biggest one usually says is, hey, what's the difference between Bluzelle and, let's just say, IPFS, which is another decentralized storage, like the core infrastructure?
Yeah. Perfect question. So, Pavel?
The biggest one is people, when they go on IPFS, they go, oh, we're storing on something decentralized. Yes, it's crowdsourced. Yes, all the networks are decentralized. They're not run by one entity. Yeah. But you're actually storing only on one node. That's what's kind of in the hidden print, that, we're putting it there, but it's not actually redundant. It's not automatically replicated elsewhere. You actually have to choose to do it somewhere else, and then it ends up costing more. So Bluzelle is saying, no, right off the bat, we're saying, you store on us, you're replicated off a number of nodes. So it's truly decentralized. It's not just a network that's decentralized, that's run by consensus. We're actually storing your stuff, and you're getting that redundancy and replication.
Oh, okay. So I can see the differentiation. So essentially, you guys are really not hiding behind the print, so to speak. You're really saying that, look, if you want, this is what will happen. Duplication will happen this way. And as far as I've read, it's actually randomized, right? To an extent?
Yeah, so the nodes would be, as the network grows, it could be by geography or whatever the world, but basically the network it says, okay, we're going to put them in a bunch of places. And then when it's called, let's say you saying, hey, I need to grab it or point to it, it's going to find the one that's like the quickest on the network that it can reach out to, because it's in a number of places and it's all essentially the same thing.
Amazing. Well, this has been great. Any parting words, parting wisdom as you just unpacked crypto culture?
I think we're at a good precipice. Like, 4 years ago, there were all kind of these dream ideas. Now we're getting to the point of real things happening. So if you believe that, hey, everything was originally centralized, crypto took off, now NFTs, well, the further layers have to be decentralized. So if you believe in the future of crypto, you got to believe in the future of Web3, and that's where we're at.
Yeah, fantastic. Pavel, thank you for your knowledge. Looking forward to our next talks. And this has been The Flip Side of Crypto. Thank you for watching.